Yo, what is up guys? How's it going today? My name is SarahTube and today I'm bringing you a money making guide on how to flip with 10 million GP in old school RuneScape. If you're a beginner flipper, 10 mil is an amazing amount of GP to start with. And as always guys, let me know in the comments below if I missed any really good items to flip with a 10 mil cash stack. A lot of you have wanted me to focus on what kind of mindset you should have when flipping certain cash stacks and what item categories you should focus on. And with a 10 mil GP cash stack, you should really be focusing on only high volume items. High volume items are items in the game that are traded very frequently, such as Zulver Scales or Blood Runes, or really any kind of rune for that matter. So today we're going to be focusing on high volume items only, which tend to have a smaller margin, but trade a lot faster and can still net you a really good profit. That being said, the first item we're going to do today, guys, is the Blood Rune. The Blood Runes are absolutely insane. They are the best high volume flip that I have found for a 10 mil GP cash stack. Besides that, Zulver Scales are really good as well, so I'm going to show those next. Currently, looks like we're going to get a 4 GP margin on the Blood Runes, which I know some of you might not think is a lot, but if you consider the fact that this trade will probably complete within the next 3 minutes or so, we're basically going to net 40k with such minimal effort and such low risk that this is really safe. And already, all of the Blood Runes have bought. I literally just went to go list my second item, and they already all came in. So we're going to turn around and sell these for 304, and I really think they're going to sell pretty quickly here if they don't sell immediately. Now, our next item that we're going to do is the Zulver Scales. Zulver Scales are a really good high volume flip, especially for really any amount of cash under 30 mil GP. And the reason they're so good is because the limit every 4 hours is very high. This item allows you to flip 30,000 of them every 4 hours, so it becomes really powerful as you scale your cash stack. Since we're only working with 10 million GP today, we will not be doing the full limit, but if it does work out, you can flip this item multiple times. I'm going to see if we can get about 10,000 Zulver Scales today for 234 GP, and we're going to look to sell those for 237 GP, which is going to make us 3 GP per Zulver Scale, and since we're getting 10,000 of them, we're going to be making 30k. As you guys can see, the Blood Runes have already sold, but I do want to go ahead and list another item, and the item I'm going to be doing is the Adamant Darts. I was going to actually do these, but I checked the margin, and it's only a 1 GP margin. Typically, when you're flipping high volume items with 10 mil, you don't really want to flip any items that are only going to net you 1 GP. If you do find that a margin for one of these high volume items is only 1 GP, I'd recommend you come back and check it in about 20 minutes and see if it does rise to a 2 GP margin. Otherwise, just skip it and keep moving on. With this 4.6 mil though, we are going to try and flip some Dragon Arrows. We'll see if the Dragon Arrows have a good margin. The limit on these is 11,000 every 4 hours, and I don't think we're going to be able to flip the limit because we won't have enough money, so we're actually going to flip maybe only 1,000 of them, and the margin is really good right now. I don't really expect we'll be able to get them all for this amount, but if we can, we'll be making a really good profit. It's going to cost us about, well, we're actually going to increase it to 2,000 Dragon Arrows because the margin is so good. So we'll see if we can buy all of these Dragon Arrows up and sell them for a nice profit of about 30 GP each. I went ahead and listed 2 more items, which were the Rune Darts and the Nature Runes. And the Nature Runes, I decided to go ahead and try to get 11,000 of them just because the margin is only 2 GP. But at the same time, usually when I flip runes, I like to kind of flip a high quantity of them because I know they're a pretty safe flip. That's why I decided to go ahead and try to flip 11,000 nature runes. But on top of that, we listed the rune darts, which we're getting about 4 GP for every rune dart we can flip. Looks like we have about half of them as of right now, and we're only going to be flipping 1,000 of those. We already bought all of the nature runes, so we're going to turn around and sell them for 253 each, going to be netting us about 2 GP for every nature rune that we flip. And you guys will notice that sometimes that happens, guys. You'll list an item and it will immediately cancel. It's just a glitch. Go ahead and relist it, but you guys will notice that if you are flipping with a 10 mil cash stack and primarily focusing on these high volume items, you will have to be standing at the GE and maintaining these items very frequently. That's just because so many are traded that the flips happen super quickly and you'll just need to be buying and selling items over and over again to make profit. I went ahead and listed those rune darts, which came in for 984 GP each, and we're going to keep moving on and getting some more items here. I don't know how long I'm going to be flipping for, but I'll make sure I showcase a good amount of items so that way you guys have enough to start with. I went ahead and listed some cosmic runes, which will be netting us about 3 GP each. As you guys can see, I have 3,000 of those waiting to buy, and you guys will notice that some of these flips are actually free to play. So if you are a free to play player, maybe you're making your way towards a bond, some of these flips can actually be very helpful for you. Like, for example, the nature runes, you can easily make 20 to 30k just flipping the limit of these, so it's a really great moneymaker in free to play. And already, guys, we've already bought the cosmic runes, so I'm going to turn around and sell these for 147 each. I know I talked about flipping consumable items, so I listed some monkfish. Looks like we're going to be getting 4 GP for every monkfish we can flip without any undercutting or overcutting, so I think it's going to be a really good deal for us here. Usually when you flip monkfish, you're only going to get 2 to 3 GP each, so I'm pretty happy with the 4 GP margin. On top of that, we also were able to buy all of the dissolver scales, so if you guys remember, we were getting a 3 GP margin on these, so I'm going to turn around and sell them for 237 each. I also listed some rune arrows, which are just starting to buy right now. They're going to sell for 70 GP each, which I'm really happy with, and they're coming in extremely fast, so they might take a little bit longer to sell than I'd like. But either way, guys, you might have noticed that these rune darts have not yet sold, and they're kind of struggling to sell actually. If this happens to you, here's the first thing you should do. Just keep an eye on the item for a minute. Don't preemptively sell. Since high volume items are traded a lot in this game, it actually is a little bit harder for the margins to move, since so many trades make the margins very stagnant, and even fluctuations of 1 to 2 GP take a while. So just give it a little extra time, and if it doesn't sell, then you can go back and maintenance the flip. And what I mean by maintaining the flip is you can actually cut back on the original margin and sell for about 1 GP under for these high quantity flips. So we're going to be selling these rune darts for 983 now, since they will sell a little bit faster since it is less than the margin price of 984. As you guys can see, we just relisted the cosmic runes and they're doing really well right now. They're almost completely sold. We've almost sold off all the nature runes as well, and just before this, the rune arrows completely bought up as well. We're also able to finish up on those dissolver scales, which we'll collect here in a minute, but all of our flips, as you can see, are trading super fast right now, so that tends to happen with high volume flips. You have to sit at the GE and trade items back and forth, and it's kind of a lot of effort, but honestly, it is the best way to grow a 10 mil cash stack by flipping, and honestly, might be the best way to grow a 10 mil cash stack in the game. The second round of cosmics have sold, and on top of that, I decided to list some amethyst crystal, which have a really good margin right now. You will have to undercut and overcut with the amethyst crystals because they're a little bit more competitive than some of these other items we've been doing that tend to be a little bit safer, but I think if you can start to flip some of these other items first, you'll be able to flip these amethyst crystals just fine. We just finished buying 1,000 of them on this clip, so we're going to turn around and sell them for 1,126 each, and they should sell relatively fast. We are just listing our third offer for the cosmic runes right now, doing our last 3,000 of them, again, still buying for 144 each, so I'm very happy with that still. Of course, things are going very well right now. We're going to keep listing a few more items and see if we can get any luck on anything else. This is insane. I can't even record fast enough to actually put more items in before some of these other items sell. So very happy that we were able to buy all the cosmic runes already. Again, listing those for 147. Should sell pretty quickly. They have been so far. So we're going to keep milking that as much as we can. But this will actually be the last sell offer we're going to put in for those. And the amethyst crystals finished. That was an insanely fast flip. We're going to go ahead and do another 1,000 of those just because they were so lucrative. And I am going to bump the margin up another GP just because I wanted to go a little bit faster, and the margin is still really good anyway, so I'm going to keep going off with that. I decided to check the margin on some cannonballs, and we're going to get 6 GP for every cannonball we can buy and sell, so I'm going to go ahead and list the limit of them, which is 7,000 every 4 hours. These tend to buy really fast, and they also sell really fast. On top of this, I decided to knock the margin on the blood runes, or not the blood runes, the rune arrows, excuse me, down to 69 GP each, and they're starting to sell, so I'm very happy with that. If you ever notice an item not selling, give it a minute, and if it doesn't sell, just knock it down a GP, as long as it's still at least a 2 GP margin. we're going to go ahead and list the Wrath runes for a 3 GP margin. I don't really flip the Wrath runes a bunch, but sometimes they actually have a better margin than the rest of the runes. I'd keep an eye on them, as you might be able to get lucky and get a lot of money from them. The air orbs have completely bought up. We're going to turn around and sell these as fast as we can. We're actually going to list for 1,590. It's a little bit under the sell price that we had before, but I actually want it to immediately sell, I guess, and I'm very happy with the air orbs there. We made a good bit of cash off of those, about 30k. Just knocked the Cannonballs up to 176 GP each. I'm going to let everything sit for maybe 10 minutes or so here, come back and see what we've got going. Okay, here we are, about 10 minutes later, a little bit less, and the Cannonballs didn't buy, but we're going to cut back on all of these flips. We're going to sell everything, see how long it takes, and then we'll come back with a total profit. And everything is finished up relatively fast. The Monkfish, Silver Scales, and Dragon Arrows finished in about 2 minutes, I would say, and the Wrath runes actually took a lot longer. They took about 6 minutes, and on top of that, I had to knock down the margin to only a 1 GP margin, so we only made 1 GP on the Wrath runes, which is kind of unfortunate, but we're going to go ahead and collect this and check the profits. And as you guys can see, after examining the cash stack, we made 298,234 GP today, which is actually not too bad considering we really only actively flipped for about 20 minutes, and then the extra 10 minutes after that was just kind of waiting for those last items to sell, so really not too bad at all. You can probably make about 600k an hour with these items, and with about a 10 mil cash stack. Of course, if you guys do want more examples of good items to flip with 10 million GP, please check us out on Discord. There is a link in the description below. I post a lot of my own personal flips in there, and we have a lot of experienced flippers in there that can help you out as well. Of course, you can always reach me on DMs on Discord, and I'll answer your questions. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and I'll see you all next time.